Thank you, Elaine. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone for coming and supporting this event. I know a lot of you. I'm seeing new faces because basically I'm the resident storyteller. So we've been doing this for a year, and this is supposedly our 1-year anniversary of the Big Fish. So I'm actually wearing the same exact thing that I wore during my first Big Fish event, without the wine. So yeah, since Elaine is not telling, okay, when we talk about telling women's stories, so I basically have been telling a lot of stories for the past 1 year. So I decided tonight I'm gonna tell a story, actually 5 stories of how I meet all 5 storytellers for tonight. So thank God that I know every one of them. So you can tell, I'm gonna romanticize this a little bit because it's almost like how I first met you, not your mom. Yeah. So we start with Nadira Zakaria. So Nadira Zakaria is, as you know, if you don't, then she's a brilliant photographer. The first time I met her was, I think, back in 2004, 2005, which is online. I never met this girl. So she kind of like added me on Yahoo Messenger or something. And she was studying in one academy at that time. And she went to talk, well, she got to know about my brother, and my brother is a digital artist, so she was talking about creative stuff, and she kind of like hooked up on me instead of my brother, which worked all well. Yeah. Yeah. So at that time we were just chatting. We chat almost like every day, and we never met each other. So we until she went to study in New York, and the thing is that was throughout 4 or 5 years. I never met this girl, but you feel so connected with her, and I know roughly how she looks like. I never thought she would be this gorgeous, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, she's my sister. Not like that, yeah. So the thing is, with Nadira, is almost like, because she's been in New York, and I have problems sleeping, so she's always been my companion throughout the night. Yeah, so we chat throughout the night. So yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah, we share a lot of things together, and there was one time, my friend, my very good friend from school, she works as a Singapore Airlines stewardess, and I told her, doing all what, if you know Kelantanese, I'm partly Kelantanese, so we always find people who we know. So I was telling my friend, hey, I know someone in New York. I know one person in New York, which is Nadira. So I told my friend to just go and meet Nadira. And my friend actually met Nadira. She met you, right? Ask Lynn. Lynn, she met you. And then when Lynn came to me, and Lynn told me, hey, Lynn, I met Nadira, your friend. She's great. And I told Lynn, I never met Nadira. She's been my online friend for 5 years and never met her. And until last year, the first time I met her, so I actually took her out and spent the whole day with her. Yeah, and when she had to go back to New York, I actually sent her to the airport. Yeah, and met her whole family, and met her mom. And the best thing that her mom did to me was, I mean, this is an online friend, but what the mom did to me was, she told me, you know what, please take care of her. How? Yeah, how do I take care of Nadira who's in New York? So her mom told me, please make sure that you always chat with her and keep her grounded, like keep her at home. So that's what I do with Nadira. So I always be there for her online until she came back for good, which is, thank God, you're back for good, and I can finally be the sister that I am to you all these 7 years. Yeah. 8 years? Yeah. So that's Nadira Zakaria. So then we move on to... We actually had a lot of other people tonight, supposedly, but one caught a flu, so she couldn't make it. That was Sheena Zaid, supposed to be one of our tellers tonight, and I have a story about her, but yeah, it's okay, we're gonna save that for later. Then I met Umi Shaharun. So I don't know whether Umi remembers the first time I met her. See? Oh my god, what the hell, man? Yeah, she was drunk, We were outside Zouk. Yeah. So I met her at a birthday party at Zouk, and she was drunk, she was outside, but she had the best energy ever. And I only recently know that she knows Nadira, and I met her again, and I instantly feel that she's a very creative person, and she's a very jovial and great vibe. So I kind of like Google her. That's what you do. You Facebook and Google her. And she is, I think, very brilliantly creative. And no wonder you're working in YogaNet, and no wonder you know all my friends, because my friends are interesting people, and I'm interesting too, so you should be interesting. So that's it. Yeah, so that's Umi Sharon. And then there's Nini Ramlan. So Nini, I know of her when I was very young, and I know of her from magazines, and there's one thing about her that caught my eye was her nice looks and her hair. And at that time, I was so into I wanted to be in broadcasting at that time, and I saw this gorgeous girl is working in broadcasting, and say, oh my god, like, crush. Like my celeb crush. I'm sorry, Nini. All out in the open. Yeah. So when we did International Women's Day last year, and she was one of our speakers at St. Mary, and that was the first time that I finally, I went to St. Mary, the school. Yeah. So Nini was one of our speakers, and that was the first time I met Nini in person, and she was this bundle of joy coming out of her, because she was talking about art for life and how art is alive, and that's the only thing that I felt I can relate to her. And then I kind of like, okay, this is my chance. I gotta get to know this person. So I was writing for Cutout magazine at that time, and I say, you know what? I know someone, a subject that I can write on, and her name is Nini Ramla. I told my editor, and she said, yeah, go ahead with her. So that's the only way to get a date with girls these days. Yeah. So I called her up and say, come on, let's have breakfast together. And I'm interviewing you. I have an interview. I'm going to interview you. So we sat down, we had coffee, and we had, I think, I don't go for coffee on a working day because I'm always late. So that was at 8:30. Bosses, I'm always early. Yeah. Yeah, so we sat down and talked about a lot of things instead of what I was supposed to write about you, but I think we talked about a lot of things, and even though it was such a short 1 hour, but I think that was summing up to 5 dates. kinda. No. But yeah, so that's, and Nini is, I don't know, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, I never would imagine that I would sit down and have coffee with you, but today we were friends, so yeah. And that's Nini Ramlan for tonight. And then we have Michelle Lee. Michelle Lee is a poet, a fellow poet that I met about 1 year ago. And when you see this lady, you're like, is she an accountant? Is she a banker? I don't know. Can she write poetry? But then, she can. And I think when she I first met her at Jayawan, the B at Jayawan, and it was her first poetry slam, and she won. She had the most beautiful words in her. So I think I was just judging the book by the cover, and I don't expect that a person like Michelle Lee would have the most beautiful soul to write about. Yeah, so so that's Michelle Lee. She's gonna come out later with her poetry. And how I met Elaine Foster. Yeah, we met online. Yeah, so Elaine had this project called the Box of Ideas. Was it?
With some other people, yeah.
With some other people. So Elaine was collecting secret box to put idea cards. So I, at that time, was supposed to get over someone. And the thing that I hold on to that someone is boxes of secrets that she bought for me all over the world when she traveled. So the only thing that I ask from people when they travel is postcards or buy me secrets, because I want to taste secrets from other countries because I don't travel a lot. So this person, she bought me a lot of secrets, and I keep the box. A year later, the box was full in my locker. So I kind of like, okay, it's time to get rid of it. It's time to let go. So then this person came by, and I was asking people to give in their secret box so she can put in as ideas. And then
You were the only one.
I was the only one. I literally Facebook messaged her, okay, you know what, I have this bunch of secret box I want to give away. And then she said, okay, I'll be playing futsal at One Utama, just come by. And I was there with a bag of like a plastic bag of cigarette box, waiting by the side, waiting for her to finish futsal, and just, hi, Elaine Foster, this is my cigarette box. Glad to be friends with you. And she got me my first poetry gig. She kind of like put me in the performance poetry. She put me where I am today. Yeah. So without Elaine Foster, I wouldn't be on stage. So those are the romantic encounters I have with the storytellers tonight. So that is my story for tonight. Okay, thank you and enjoy the night. Enjoy the storytellers. Thank you very much.